Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode number 25 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Let's check out what's going on today. I recently cleared out my condensers, so I pulled all the dark matter that was getting created in there out of these guys. And why did I do that? Well, I've got an equivalent exchange chest with some dark matter in it. So I'm going to be building a couple, at least one, equivalent exchange item today. That's new, and I don't think I've shown it to you guys in any of my Let's Play series, but I did show it in my tutorial of equivalent exchange. I'm also going to want to do something in this room here today. I'll probably do something with this system, though I haven't entirely figured out what yet, but don't worry, it's coming eventually. And who knows where else today's episode will lead us, so without further ado, let's get started. Alright, I think I've got everything I need. I'm about to build a very expensive but very awesome item. First off, to get started with this guy here, I need to build an item you guys have seen me make before, and hopefully I remember the recipe correctly. That's right, the energy collector. Sweet! Now if I take my 8 dark matter blocks, and considering I've been making dark matter since I started this series, you should have an understanding of how expensive dark matter is, and how much time it took to accumulate 8 pieces of dark matter. The fact that I'm using it means this must be a pretty interesting item. It's called the Antimatter Relay. Let's grab that guy and go plop him down in the world. So, where do I want to put my Antimatter Relay? Let me think about this for a few minutes and I'll be right back. For now, I'm just going to put the Antimatter Relay right here, even though it's not the best spot to put it at the moment, and I'll explain why in a minute, but I want you guys to see how it works. The Antimatter Relay does almost like what it sounds. It takes items in the world and will completely destroy them and build up an EMC value equivalent to the worth of that item. Now let's take a regular item like cobblestone, for example. As you can see, by placing it in my transmutation table, it's worth 4 EMC, right? Now if I were to place that in my Antimatter Relay in any of the inputs here, it burns up and it makes 6 EMC. Well, what's up with that? Well, anything placed in the Antimatter Relay is immediately worth 150% of its original EMC value. Very cool. Now, the other cool aspect of this, if I open up my crafting table again, let's look at Mobius fuel. 256. So, what's 150% of that? Good question. It's 384. Okay? So let's see what happens when I place it. I'm just going to break this guy and place him right back down. That reset the EMC value in there. I'm going to cook this guy off. Should I have 384 EMC in here? You would expect that. Hey, we just passed 384. What's going on now? We got 516. Interesting. That's double. That's right. Any fuel type items that you place in here, like Mobius fuel or redstone or any of the other fuel type items, will be worth twice as much EMC as they would have been worth had they been used in a condenser or some other material. Now you might be saying to yourself, hey cool, fuel's worth double value when I burn it in the Antimatter Relay, it should be worth a lot in the condenser and I should stop using it in the condenser. Well, not really. Basically, when you put the fuel in your condenser, it's worth 3 times its EMC value. So it's still more efficient to use your fuel in your condenser instead of just dumping it all into your relay. However, the relay is a really nice spot to put junk items that we don't need anymore, kind of like we would for our recycling system. And since we've got a significant amount of scrap, maybe I want to place my relay in the output slot for all the junk that I don't need, like dirt, sand, and cobble, and let it all cook up from the relay. Not a bad idea. Now, how do we get the energy out of the relay is a good question. It will immediately feed its energy directly into any adjacent condensers or collectors, and it will also increase the speed at which those machines operate. So I definitely want to do something here to take advantage of that, and I'm just trying to plan exactly where I want to place it. Now, it has to be adjacent on a horizontal plane, so on one of the 4 sides, it can't be on top. So I'm thinking I want to increase the speed of one of my condensers, at least for now. So I'm going to knock this block down and place him right here. And that's not a bad spot for him. He's adjacent to the condenser, so he should start speeding it up. I can now knock a hole in this wall and run outside, and I'm going to head over to my piping system here. and it's time to make a few little changes to this red wire piping system. There we go. Let's see, what do I got? I've got a few pneumatic tubes. I might need to make some more. I think I do. I'm also going to need a brown and a red paintbrush. That's what I did underneath my flooring here, if I recall correctly. Yep, looking good. Cool. So the best way to resolve this at the moment, I think, would first be to make some more pneumatic tubes, and for that I'm going to need more brass. Not thinking this will be quite enough, so why don't I go smelt a little bit more brass, and I'll be back in a few moments to build this little piping system. Alright guys, so here's what I've decided on how I want to set up my system. I want to continue having dirt and sand and gravel that I don't need going into my chest here, and then eventually down to my sorting system and get recycled. But what I'm going to change is the fact that all excess cobble will, instead of going into this chest, will eventually make its way over to this system back here. So why don't I grab my pneumatic tubes, and I'm going to set this guy brown, because we don't really want him going out in this direction here. So where's my brown brush? Actually, maybe I should set it to something different. For now, I'm just going to knock this guy off. There we go. Much better. So what I'm going to do is just run this little bit of tubing right along the outside of my house. I might hide it a little bit better eventually, but for now, it should work out rather well if I just head out this direction. Maybe I do want to run this underground. That might be a little bit cleaner. Yeah, I think I'm going to run it underground. Alright, so let's run this guy underground, because that sounds like it might be a little bit neater to do. A little bit cleaner. Just make it look all kinds of purty. There we go. And we can run this guy right like so. Perfect. And of course we want to make sure that only brown items go in this guy. So I'm going to paint him brown. And what should happen now, let's see, it should take the shortest route, but just to make sure, I'm going to head down here and just break this pipe. So let's connect this guy first. And see how brown is starting to go up a little bit, so it looks like it's alternating. That might even be exactly even. Because I think what happens is if the route is exactly even, it'll split them 50-50. But if I knock this guy off here, it's going to suddenly realize, hey wait, I can't be going that direction, and spin right back around and start heading back over and through this piping system and right into here. Ta-da! And the Antimatter Relay is taking all the cobble that shows up and quickly converting it to EMC. So quickly, in fact, that you can't even notice it converting because it's immediately being shot into my condenser to help that thing move. So, while it may not be immediately apparent, what if I were to throw some Mobius fuel in there? Now the thing's really building up a lot of EMC. And this guy's going to start moving a bit quicker, and things are looking pretty good. So I'm just going to grab some covers here and seal this place up. So where's my red power hollow stone covers, and I should have a good amount of dirt with which to cover things up. Might as well even grab some smooth stone as well. There we go. Hollow stone cover. Looking good. And then head back over here and set up my hollow stone cover. Great. Why don't I head back out onto my roof real quick and just cover up the dirt in the ground. There we go. I've got some sand on me. Sure, why not? That looks pretty nice, actually. Okay, I like the looks of that. So now this system should be producing, it's pretty much running my condenser a little bit quicker. And you can see some built-up EMC value was stored in there, and it's pretty much using all the EMC that comes in from the cobblestone. Cobblestone, obviously, not very valuable EMC-wise. So for now, I think that's pretty good. I'll let that guy run for a little bit, and rest assured that this guy's running faster. Alright guys, so right now I'm hanging out visiting my tree farm that I set up a little while back, and if I go look at my arboretum here, you can see it's pretty much full of saplings. Some trees were just grown and cut down and then replanted, so it's short one or two, but for the most part, once all these leaves fall and turn into saplings, they'll get filled into this chest. As you can see, here comes one now, and all the excess saplings are being sent back to my sorting system. So that's pretty cool. And if I head back to my sorting system real quick, something I can do a lot quicker now that I have a quantum suit, you can see that I adjusted my sorting table right here to allow for saplings as well as seeds and wheat to go down the same line as wood. So basically any seeds or wheat or saplings that are excess are coming down here and they're landing inside this chest. Great. Now I can start using my saplings to create biofuel. So why don't I, real quick, think about exactly how I want to process this. Alright guys, so I have a basic plan for what I want to do here. Of course it involves running downstairs and placing on this system here another one of these teleport pipe multi-frequency guys. Let's go ahead and just put it right here, why not? And place down this guy here like so, and my item transport pipe can go right on top, and we'll set this guy to frequency 14. Looks good to me. Alright, and of course receiving true. Then I'm going to get my requester tool, because I didn't expect to have to use that logistics pipe. Should have, but didn't. So let's request one real quick. Should be along shortly. And what I'm going to do is, of course, set up a supplier pipe with a basic logistics pipe hooked up and a teleport pipe over frequency 14. And there's my basic logistics pipe, so let's head on over to my room. And to make things nice and simple, it should be pretty obvious to you guys what I'm about to do, but build my supplier pipe, teleport pipe. We'll knock a hole in this wall real quick, and we'll set down the supplier pipe here, the teleport pipe here, frequency 14, receiving true, and everything should line up properly. Now I'll grab my wrench, and let's see what we've got in there at the moment. We've got 8 fertilizer, so let's tell it at all times keep 10 fertilizer and 5 saplings. That should be good. Partial requests? Sure, why not? And what it should do is quickly identify that it needs some saplings to populate that little machine. And I'm hoping it populates them and puts them in the proper place. There go the saplings and a little bit of fertilizer. And if we head down to this room, perfect, exactly what I wanted to see it do. So everything's looking good. Now I can go ahead and activate this using frequency 4, and I'm going to set the receiving back to true. And the power should be coming in. And again, this is leaching power from my existing tree farm and other farm systems over frequency 4, but I'm about to remedy that. So let me be back in just a few minutes once this fermenter is done fermenting. Alright guys, so like I said, I don't want to be running that system downstairs off of the power supply that I've currently got going into there, because I want to save that, frequency 4 power for some other cool things. So I'm going to head downstairs with some of the items I've got. Hopefully I brought everything I need. I'm going to take my stone gears and surround them with tin, and that'll give me a tin gear. And the tin gear is going to be used to create the next machine that I'm about to build here. some glass, and some tin along the top. Yes, this is a Buildcraft engine, but it's specific to the forestry mod. It is the electrical engine. Dun, da, da. The electrical engine is very cool. Basically, it works by, if I get my wrench here and sort that guy up, running off industrial craft power. So I happen to have an MFSU sitting on the other side of this wall right here, don't I? Yes, I do. So I should figure out a way to get this guy wired into this room over here. There we are. Shouldn't be too hard to wire this guy. Now I can simply do something like this. Let's see. I gotta figure out exactly how I want to run this wiring. I might need to move my red power wire a little bit, because I can't have these guys in the same space. But for now, I think just to get things wired properly, I'll go over the red power. A bit of a waste of cabling, but I'll fix it in a bit. So let's run our way over to this guy. There we go. And hopefully I brought enough industrial craft cabling. Maybe enough? Yeah, that looks good. Alright, and if you're paying attention, you might have noticed that I did not have to convert my power to a lower frequency. So it looks like this engine, I actually tested this in my test world before setting it up here, but it looks like this guy can run off high voltage. It doesn't matter what the voltage level of the power coming in is. But he's only going to really be using about 6 energy units per tick, and that'll produce about 2 Buildcraft units of power per tick, or if you want to be a little bit more technical about it, it creates about 2 steam engines worth, or yeah, steam engines, the coal-powered engines. So, not bad. And it'll run off my MFSU right here, or here, to be more precise. And this guy's got a good amount of energy reserves at the moment, so 6 energy units per tick should last quite a while. Now, if I grab myself a lever, I don't think I can just place this guy on the ground right here, can I? Oh yeah, look at that. It's running. Perfect. So I've just given myself a little on-off lever, but maybe I want to move him, I don't know. I might move this lever in a bit. Let me think about it for a minute. Alright guys, I think I decided I want this guy to just be a little bit moved. I'm going to put my lever up on this tile up here. That should be good. And I'm going to move the redstone wiring in what's not going to be the most efficient use of red wiring, probably, but it should suffice. If I do something like that, it should activate my redstone engine now. And I only had to go all that weird way around because I had so many Buildcraft pipes right here blocking my way. And I don't have any smooth stone on me? How'd that even happen? I don't think I have any in here. Nope. How did I even ever run out of smooth stone? Let's get about, I don't know, 20 of them for now. Should be good. And remember, it's going to come into my DM furnace here and smelt up real quick. And then be sent out to me. Thank you, request system. Just need to cover up my wall real fast. Should be plenty. Alright, let's give this guy a flick of the lever real quick. And if we look down there, we can see that engine moving again, so that's good. Now, I won't be running this guy at full power, but that's alright for now because, to be honest with you guys, it doesn't need to exactly be full power just yet, especially considering the fact that I don't get a ton of saplings just yet. I have some of them coming in, but not a massive amount of saplings coming in. So for now, we've got a good biofuel production system. And once I process this last sapling that I just threw in there, I'm going to go ahead and flip the lever off, because I want to pretty much only produce biofuel when I want. And of course, since I'm low on saplings at the moment, it's not going to automatically refill here. But in a little bit, I should have a good backlog of saplings that weren't used, and I can come down here and produce biofuel or biogas whenever I want. Biofuel is actually an item in forestry, and I keep mixing up the name, and I'll show you that item in a little bit. So for now, I'll leave this fertilizer in there, won't hurt. Flip this lever off, don't need to be running that electrical engine anymore, and I'm going to close the door behind me. Yeah, I should probably cover this up at some point. Looks a little ugly. I'll fix it, maybe right now real quick. Alright, much better. Just ran this guy under the floorboards there, so he goes straight down a little bit faster. And now I can seal up this wall, and a little less ugly. Cool, I like it. Alright, now let's move on to building something else that might be neat. Alright guys, let's get another machine going on down in that dark room. Something that's actually going to be useful to be dark. I'm going to grab some stone gears here, and I'm going to upgrade 4 of them to bronze gears. I'm also going to build one of those nifty little machines for forestry, and place the gears in the corners, and the glass in the middle. And I get the fermenter. Wait, we've seen the fermenter before. Of course we have. This recipe requires the fermenter, and we need to make some copper gears, as you just saw. Again in the corners with the copper gears and the glass in the middle. And this will get me the moistener. Moisteners do not require energy, so that's pretty neat. Let's go throw it into our room here. And I'm going to hook it up right here, I think. That's probably a good spot. If we open up the interface, you can see there's some crazy stuff going on. Well, why don't I get all the things I need to get this thing working, and then I'll show you how it works. So real quick, I'm stepping out to my seed system here. You can see the seed production isn't quite exactly where it needs to be. So I'm just going to steal some from out here, but eventually we'll be producing more seeds than we're using over in this farm. You might also notice I'm not using any more dirt. The farm does not need any more dirt than it originally gets, as long as nobody goes trampling all over the grass and breaks all the wheat and whatnot. In that place it might require dirt, but for the most part it won't. It'll automatically keep everything nice and neat. So let's go downstairs, and I'm going to request for myself real quick just a golden waterproof pipe. So I need a golden waterproof pipe, please. And that should be everything I need. I've also grabbed some wheat and some seeds. Thank you, sir. And let's place down the golden waterproof pipe right next to the moistener. You'll see some water starting to fill up the tank there. Now how do we use this moistener? Don't worry, it's pretty easy. First off, seeds go in the top slot, right there. And wheat can go in this slot right here. I'm only going to go with a half a stack right now for the most part. You start by putting it in one of these slots right here, and what should happen is if it's dark enough, it'll start decaying this wheat. It'll combine it with the water and the seeds. Let's turn off the lights real quick and see what happens. As soon as I turned off the lights, it started processing. And you can see it's taking this wheat and turning it into moldy wheat. And it's outputting the moldy wheat right here. And if I go close this door real quick, it might even operate a little faster. What do we got? Some light coming from my engines, I guess? Oh well, can't be helped too well. So, moldy wheat, lots of cool stuff happening. Great, loving it. And once we decay our wheat to a decent point, it'll go from moldy down to decaying and all the way down to mulch. So it'll basically break down all this stuff. And what do we get as an output? Well, let's wait and see. Almost there. There we go. We get Mycelium. Nice. Those of you not familiar with the latest builds of 1.0 Minecraft Vanilla might not know what Mycelium is, but it's basically a type of dirt block that's found in mushroom biomes. It can grow over dirt, so it'll kind of expand just like grass does. It's got a couple other neat little features, but it's also used in forestry to build mushroom farms. So I'm going to let this mycelium process. And just to make sure there's not too much light leaking in here, close the door behind me. So this feels like a good wrapping up point for episode 25. Got my mycelium production going on so I can start getting my mushroom farm, and a couple other good things done. And next episode, hopefully I'll have some more dark matter. Let's go check on our system over here. Oh yeah, we've got some dark matter and a couple blocks of diamond already. And this guy's only worked his way up to a few blocks of diamond, so I'm feeling like this system is definitely moving faster than it was earlier. And we can see we've actually got a surplus of EMC, so it's building up the EMC faster than it can use it at the moment. So that's kind of cool. Alright guys, so this is Direwolf20 signing off on episode 25. Hope you enjoyed checking this out. Take it easy.